What's going on, my Jets family? I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. We got some shit to talk about. I'm excited to have you guys here. I mean, I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Appreciate all you guys, being out there, bring it up in the chat. We're going to talk this all out because this fucking sucks. Like, you guys know I don't curse too often. I mean, I curse, I guess, a decent amount. I mean, we got Michael out there right out of the gate. Appreciate you, bro. Michael, what a kick in the balls. Yeah. I mean, fucking yeah, man. I mean, just as I said, you guys know, I, curse a little bit, but just fuck, right? Just what the fuck, right? So I'm excited to be here with you guys to at least talk it out. I mean, I'm going to put my phone on mute. My apologies. So doesn't bother us anymore. Again, appreciate you guys being there. Appreciate you guys listening. So I want to hear a lot of what you guys think. Because I mean, I'm fucking pissed. And I like I said, mentioned earlier, I don't curse too much. I mean, I curse a decent amount, but I'm fucking pissed, man. I mean, that sucked. That just sucks. So I was gonna rant a little bit at the end, just to rant here in the beginning as well. That just fucking sucked, man. That was awful. That was such bad football to watch. Like, I don't understand. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about. So again, please let me know what you're thinking. Bring it up in the comments. We're going to talk this out because there's some kind of a disconnect going on, is what I feel like it's got to be. So Michael points out, again, appreciate you, Michael. Michael says, I'm down big time on Salah. Maybe that's what it is. So again, I feel like there's just this huge fucking disconnect because you guys know how I feel about the talent that Joe Douglas has brought to this team. And I felt like we have a really talented team on both sides of the ball. So we're going to come back to the defense. We'll talk about the defense. That was good. The defense was actually good. That was a positive thing. That was really fun to watch. That was exciting. I mean, when you're on the field the whole freaking game and the offense is doing nothing, what the hell do you expect? But the defense was actually really good. So we're going to talk about that. But let's start with the offense, because the offense is like, and I see you guys coming in. Appreciate you guys, let everyone know on Twitter, to come in here and let's chat it up. Let's talk about this like we always do in the comments. I want to know what you guys are thinking. I want to talk about this because this is crazy. Like, I think you would agree, and I'm going to mention this later, we deserve better football. Like, us Jet fans deserve to watch better football. And that offense was non-existent. That was a stagnant fuck. And again, cursing my head off, just fuck. Like, watching that game, it felt like I was watching a game back during the Adam Gase time, is honestly what it felt like. And I think a lot of people kind of reiterated that. And that's what angers me with this disconnect, because we're moving forward. I feel like we're moving forward, right? I mean, the talent on this team, I come back to Joe Douglas. I feel like this is a talented team. I don't understand. This disconnect literally doesn't make sense. So we talk about the game for a good amount of time. The Jets were in it. I mean, it was 3-0. Barely 6-0. It was barely any points for a while. We were still in that game really until almost pretty much in the third quarter. I mean, we were playing well. The running game was going well. So let's start first. And again, I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what you guys think. Throw it up on the thing. I want to talk with you guys about this because, again, there's a freaking disconnect here. So shout out to the Jet Show and appreciate all you guys out there. It says piss poor execution from the OC and the O-line. And man, we're going to talk about that O-line because you guys know I felt good about that O-line. And a big thing with me, excuse me, guys, a big thing with me is I don't backtrack my shit. Like, I thought the O-line was going to be really good. So I'm going to come to that. We're going to talk about the O-line. I want to start with the quarterback position because it's an important position. And Joe Flacco sucked. And that surprised the hell out of me. I mean, in the offseason, right, from everybody that was at camp, they kept telling us how good Joe Flacco looked. The coaches were saying Robert Saleh literally fucking said that he still is a starting quarterback in this league. Let's not forget that came out of the man's mouth. And from all the reports we've heard, all through the offseason, OTAs, minicamp, all of it, training camp, he's looked good. He's looked to the role, and why not? He's a veteran quarterback. Obviously, age is catching up, but he's a veteran quarterback. He's got the playoff wins. He's got the Super Bowl win. Like, it seemed to make sense. So, like Jet Show points out, and that's why I said coming back to the quarterback, like he says, I'm not blaming our second string quarterback who's 37 years old. Many point out, and I saw it on Twitter, I forgot who pointed it out, shout out to whoever it was. They pointed out Joe's numbers when he wasn't under pressure. And they weren't terrible. I mean, they weren't great, but they weren't terrible either. However, the way I look at it, and I hope maybe you guys will agree, and this is my big feeling here with the quarterback situation. From now until Zach Wilson comes back, I honestly don't give a fuck who's at quarterback as long as they are taking our offense and making them groove. They're actually starting to gel and play well together and find some fucking momentum and get ready and good and start grooving for when Zach returns. If that's Mike White, so be it. I felt, and I mentioned this on Twitter as well, watching the game, you guys remember I didn't want to get rid of Chris Streveler. I thought the way this offense works, we have Zach Wilson, and shout out again to Jet Show, and again, guys, let me know what you're thinking, bring up your comments. He points out he did look old and slow. So Chris Streveler, like Zach Wilson, again, I'm not saying he's Zach Wilson, so let's like make that clear. But like Zach Wilson, he's a mobile quarterback that moves around the pocket, that's dynamic outside the pocket, throws well on the run. I thought he fit this offense very well. I thought he'd stick over Mike White. He didn't. You guys remember when we did the 53-man roster together, we had Chris Streveler. I made my argument for him. You guys were like, makes sense. I mean, he came back and won 3 preseason games. He literally came back and won. That's the kind of fucking momentum I'm talking about, right? That's the kind of get this offense grooving. Get this offense firing on all cylinders, confident. I want confidence when Zach Wilson returns. I don't want this flaky bullshit of running backs fumbling the ball, not coordinated, miscommunication. That's not what I want. I want this offense firing on all cylinders when Zach returns. So if Joe Flacco just happened to have a shit fuck week and he's ready to come back week 2, so be it. If it's Mike White, so be it. If it's Chris Streveler, so be it. That's my condition. I want this offense moving and grooving when Zach returns. That's what I want. And clearly, that was not that. That was stagnant as shit. So let's talk more about that offense and what I thought was good offensive coordinating, right? I mean, you guys remember, again, back at the beginning of last season, I and Green Bean, we had a whole episode where we questioned the offensive coordinator. We were like literally to the point where, well, Zach's future rides on this. Like if he's the problem, shit. Well, we saw creativity throughout the whole season. We started to see adaptivity, better play calling, creative play calling. Where the fuck was it on Sunday? And again, please, guys, give me your comments. I want to know what you think as well. But where the fuck was it? There was no ingenuity. There was no inventiveness. I'm going to invent words. I'm so angry. Inventivity. Damn it. There was no inventivity. It was just fucking stagnant. And they couldn't get anything right. So we said all offseason, we kept being told how great Joe Flacco looked. And he looked good in what we saw. We saw him in the Giant practice. We saw him in the Falcon practice. We saw him in the preseason. Not much, honest. Did he actually? I'm trying to remember if he played in the preseason now. I don't think he played. Now I'm not remembering. I don't remember seeing him in the preseason. Okay, you guys clarify me. I'm not remembering for some reason. I don't remember seeing him, but we kept hearing, I'm just so angry. We kept hearing all offseason how good he looked. What the hell? That offense was stagnant. So, yes, the offensive line was bad, and we're going to get to that. But that doesn't make up for the play calling, and that doesn't make up for a veteran quarterback. The whole point of Joe Flacco is he's seen everything, right? He's been around the block. He's seen everything. What the fuck, right? You've seen everything. Why is it new? Why do you look like you don't have confidence back there? And coming back to, again, the offense grooving, he's so fucking vanilla, right? So shout out to Adam. I appreciate you guys. Remember I had Adam on the show the other day. He's great. He's an awesome, awesome guest and an awesome guy to be around, but also awesome because he can fact check me. So if I say something, I'm like, wait a minute. He did play. Thank you, Adam. Much appreciated. I'm like, I don't remember seeing him. Like, I remember a lot of Mike White and I remember Chris Streveler. But I'm like, fuck, did I see Flacco? But anyway, and then he points out, had an interception versus the Giants. Just social media lost their minds. Maybe that was the beginning. Again, quarterbacks get too old. We can't use, remember I've mentioned before, Patrick Mahomes is the exception. We can't use Tom Brady as this new magical exception that quarterbacks play till they're 50. I hate Tom Brady. We all hate Tom Brady. He's a fucking freak of nature. That's not the norm. Flacco's old as shit. What was it? It was Jet Show. Shout out to him. He said he looked old and slow. He is fucking old and he is fucking slow. So I come back, appreciate you guys out there. My big take on the quarterback position, and I hope maybe you'll agree with me. I want this offense moving and grooving when Zach returns. He's coming in a crucial year. We need the team playing well. The defense is clearly there, and we're going to talk about that. After last year, where it's like, wait a minute, Robert Saleh's thing is defense. What the fuck is happening? The defense looked really good week one. The offense, it's just insane, right? And I appreciate all you guys. Shout out to, again, Adam at New York Sports Wicker Media. Again, you guys should definitely subscribe on YouTube. He's got amazing freaking content. He says, I was at the game, took the train from Virginia for it. How about that, right? So many Jet fans. Buffalo Jet fan. Came from I'm pretty sure he's in Buffalo, right? That's where the name comes from, or he's somewhere in that region. You guys correct me if I know he's somewhere up there. I think it's Buffalo. A lot of fans came from all around. This was a big home game. Let's not forget, the stadium was freaking shaking when they played the national anthem. I was home, and I've said it to you guys before, as you remember, I'm getting married next month, trying to save every penny I can. I can't wait to go back to some Jet games. Absolutely can't wait. But I'm watching on TV. It was loud. You guys, hats off. I don't have a hat. I'm going to fucking put this pillow on my head just to take it off for you guys. Fucking hats off, man. You guys were amazing. Like, she stopped singing, and you guys were so loud. So shout out to you guys, man. That was amazing. Jets fans came. Jet fans showed. We held up our end of the fucking bargain. Now we're asking for you to hold up your end of the fucking bargain, Jets. And that's the point. We're all so pissed. We're angry. We deserve better, right? We know we deserve better. And again, I come back to the disconnect to me, and I want to circle back to that because I feel, and you guys, please feel free to disagree because, again, I'm so fucking pissed. Whatever you guys are thinking, whatever. Shit on anybody. But I really feel that Joe Douglas is bringing in the right players, right? I feel like forget everything else. Just look at it from a GM perspective, right? I only control acquisitions, drafts, trades, all the things that he controls. I've liked it, right? I've been happy with it. That's what's put me in trending in the right direction. And you guys remember, I believe it was, shout out to Adam as well. I think it was on his show. We were talking about it, and they asked how I felt about Saleh too. It's not the same. I love Joe Douglas because I think he is a great GM. I mean, look at these last two drafts alone. I feel like it's obvious. But what the fuck is happening? Like, I want to believe in Robert Saleh. Like, when we had Adam Gase as our head coach, you guys remember, again, I try to bring you press conferences as much as I can. I'm working all the time. Try to bring you the press conferences live, quotes from the conferences. When I used to listen to Gase's, Bro, I wanted to reach through the computer and smack him across his fucking face. Like at least 75% of the time. Like at least to get the smug look off the fucking face. Like it was ridiculous. And the things he said were absolutely ridiculous. I've liked everything Saleh said. I can't deny that. If you guys, again, feel different, please tell me. I'm trying to figure out this fucking disconnect, but I've liked all the things we're being told. And again, think of all the players that have come to the Jets solely because of Robert Saleh, right? All these players in free agency have come to this team throughout last year and this year to be on Robert Saleh's team, to be part of what he's building. So shout out to all you guys. We got CD out there. CD points out this is the team Saleh wanted. That kind of goes with that. Saleh said you can't help but win. Well, you gotta fucking win, right, bro? You have to fucking win. There's a point where, again, it's too much, right? Us Jet fans, we've been through so fucking much. And I honestly have felt, I'm not bullshitting you guys. You know that. I'm not here blowing some fucking smoke up your asses. I'm telling you, I believe in Joe Douglas. I believe in the process he's created. I felt that for a while, and it's translated player-wise. But clearly week one, there was a disconnect. Now, maybe we can chalk it up as a bad week one. And again, if you want to tell me that's fucking insane, tell me. Let me know in the chat. But maybe we can chalk it up as, okay, the offense wasn't together. I mean, they had a lot of bad fucking plays, right? Breece Hall, shit fumble, right? Let's talk about him for a sec. If it weren't for that fumble, he looked good. Right? Breece Hall was having a pretty damn good rookie game. He broke some pretty good runs. He got open a pretty good amount. He had a couple of nice catches. I'm like, okay, it's not a breakout game, but he's looking good. And then that crucial fumble, and it wasn't just any fumble, it was a crucial fumble. And so many times, Saleh pointed that out, crucial plays can change and turn an entire game. And we saw that happen. It was tough. It was tough. So Jenny points out, and shout out to all you guys. Jenny says, must win against the Browns. And you're right. You're right, Jenny. We have to win. And if the Jets leave Joe Flacco out there and it looks just as fucking pathetic, there has to be a change, right? Literally, Connor Hughes pointed it out. Shout out to him. I could hear it on television. The stadium was fucking shaking with Mike White chants. You guys wanted Mike White. You couldn't have made your voice clearer. It couldn't have been more clear. They refused to make the decision. Again, trying to figure out this disconnect, because I know we all were pissed, right? At some point, you guys saw it. I try to stay positive. At one point toward the end of the game at Twitter, I was just like, fuck, this sucks, right? I was like, fuck, it's pathetic. Or it was so tough to watch. It was such a tough game, and it wasn't the defense. We're going to come to the defense because that's a silver lining. Like, let's save some positivity. We're going to save the positivity. We're going to take some dumps at first. So we got Jets mess out there. Yo, my man, what's up? Appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys out there. And again, always feel free to disagree with what I'm saying. But the quarterback situation, very simply, we have to get grooving. Right? Whoever that is, we have to get grooving. We need momentum when Zach returns. We need this offense firing on all cylinders, hot, confident when Zach gets back. That's what we need. However the fuck they're going to achieve that, that's what needs to happen. That's how I feel. Running back, it really wasn't that bad when you take away the shit plays. That's the thing. Take away Breece Hall's fumble. Take away, Michael Carter's drop in the end zone was tough. That was he was having a good game. He was having a great game. And then that, I was like, oh, that was so difficult because he was having such a great game. But man, if we take those away, and again, we have to. We do have to take those away because those were fucking brutal. But if we take those away, it was a pretty good game. They both played pretty well. So, and we even said that, if you guys remember, I pointed that out and others did too. At the end of the first half, we were like, okay, the only offensive silver lining is the running game. That's the only offensive silver lining right now. So we had that. Take some water because I'm getting hot here. I'm angry. You guys too were pissed, right? We're fucking pissed. And we have every right. Don't let anybody tell you you don't have a right to be pissed. We fucking deserve better. So, back into it. We're going to go to one of the biggest fucking shit shows in that game. And to be surprised, something I didn't expect to be a shit show. We're going to talk about that offensive line. I had said that, obviously, when we brought Duane Brown in, we were all fucking excited, right? We were all excited. We had every right to be the veteran he is, the player he is, the talent he brings. Can you believe our luck? Like, I don't want to talk about it because it's just so fucked up, but Duane Brown hadn't missed a game in 2 years. If you guys remember, that was like my biggest thing. Like, I was like, hey, with the Becton situation, the only fucking silver lining is Duane Brown hasn't missed a game in 2 years. And he's on IR before week 1 even begins. Like, I want to shake the fucking camera. Like, oh my God. So he's gone. George Fant. George Fant didn't look good. George Fant struggled. He looked good at times, but he also looked really bad at times. He had a bad game and he got blown past. And I have a take on that. And you may agree, and please disagree if you don't. But my take on that, and I yell this as loud as I can to the Jets, to the organization, to everybody, for the love of God, stop fucking with Fant. That is my take. Stop fucking with the man. You have moved him around so much. He doesn't know where the fuck he's facing anymore. He's going to be backward running into the fucking end zone in a second. Stop moving his ass around. People say it's not that big a deal. It's, it's not like an insane thing. Like, it's like, oh my God, he has to have his brain reconstructed, but he has to change his feet. He has to change his hands. There's an adjustment to it. He had an unbelievable year at left tackle last year. Then we bring in Brown and we move him to right tackle. And he says, I got to acclimate to that. We can't forget that when we first moved him to left tackle last year, he said the same thing. Please remember that. He said, this is going to be an acclimation. It's not easy to switch. But he did it, and he had a fucking career year. So we move him to the right. He says, well, now I got to adjust again. And now we move him back to the left. So that's my message. Stop fucking with Fant. I don't care if we bring in, I don't want to be blasphemous and say, I don't care if we bring in the greatest left tackle in the league. George Fant stays where he is. Stop moving his ass around. For the love of God. He had a career year last year. Why is he struggling right now? Look what you have done to him. So again, the message, and if you disagree, stop fucking with Fant. That's my message to the Jets. If I hear that he's doing anything other than left tackle, we all should lose our fucking minds because that is insane. So, moving on from that, AVT was okay. I want to bring up his exact number. I got it. Where is it? I looked it up just. Where is that? I have it right here. I looked it up just a little while ago. So I wanted to give you his exact number. So the top Jets. These are the top performing Jets. AVT did do well. He graded as the 4th highest Jet. So I say okay, because again, no one on that offensive line deserves accolades. Maybe you'll agree with me. No one on that offensive line deserves fucking accolades after what happened. That was a goddamn travesty. So AVT was very good most of the game, but he did have some screw-ups, and it did screw up around him. So, Connor McGovern, I don't think so much. I believe, I didn't look up his exact number. And again, you guys mention this all the time. I mention it too, just to throw it out there. PFF isn't the greatest grading system. Let's just get that out of the way. We've talked about that, right? They've gone and disrespected so many players that shouldn't be disrespected. Last year, CJ Mosley had a career high tackles, career high, and they graded him some weeks at like 30, like embarrassingly low. I think one week he was like 28.3, like insanity stuff. So, not the end all be all. Let's make that clear. But Connor McGovern had an abysmal 57.6 in that game. And I was going to say, I didn't think McGovern had played that good. So McGovern, Lakin, ironically, I know we went to AVT first. That's my bad. I'm thinking because he used to be left guard. See, now I'm even turned around. That's how fucking confusing this is. Our offensive line has me turned around. AVT's on the right side. Your other side. The right side. So We talked about AVT first because even I'm fucking turned around here. Let's talk about Lakin. I don't think he graded very well either, if I remember correct. I was reading it earlier. I don't think he graded very well. Yeah. So again, you can't take PFF as gospel. Like, we should just point that out. You can't take PFF as an end-all be-all. But that being the case, they graded him at 38.6. That is fucking pathetic. That is absolutely fucking pathetic. So, yeah, Lakin Tomlinson really graded low. That offensive line was a joke. And Max Mitchell, it's like Max wasn't good. But compared to how bad Connor and Lakin were as veterans, Max wasn't bad? Like, right? Like that's how shitty this logic has to be. Like, if everyone had played well and Max was the only bad spot, like, I don't even think, what did Max? I think Max had a 60-something. And again, not gospel, right? This is PFF. But let's see. Okay, no, it was much lower. So they graded Max Mitchell at 48.9. So they did grade him very low. So they did grade him low. That offensive line was terrible, right? So we can look at grades all we want, but grades aren't needed, right? Very simple. Grades aren't needed. We can easily just, that offensive line was a fucking travesty. Like, Joe Flacco, that offensive line was so bad that even though Joe Flacco wasn't good, we can blame the offensive line because it was that bad. He was like, and he was actually a little mobile at times, right? Like, he was moving a little bit because he had to. It was bad. So that offensive line was a fucking train wreck. So we know George Fant had a career last year at left tackle, right? So he's back on the left side. Again, the message is, like we said before, stop fucking with Fant. He's back on the left side. Maybe that's fine, right? Like, maybe it's going to get better. We talked about how, and so, again, we talked about the disconnect before. Saleh said a lot of things. Talk is cheap, right? But Saleh said that it takes time for this offensive line to groove because they haven't played together, right? They haven't been on the field together. And we do know that offensive line requires a lot of understanding the timing and the tempo of the men around you and their strengths and their weaknesses and just getting in a groove. That is a big position where reps matter. So maybe it turns around week 2. Right? We're not moving George Fant again. Again, if they move George Fant, we got to freak the fuck out. We all have to freak out. George Fant isn't going anywhere. So CDs does point out, and shout out to all you guys, CD points out it is true. The nose tackle for the Ravens was a handful. It's true. It is very true. So you say Max played very well. I actually noticed, and again, I changed it because he struggled a little bit. Everyone remembers that play he had in the beginning of the game against Calais Campbell. And everyone's like, Calais Campbell got to the quarterback. Go back and watch that play. And just remind yourself, this is Calais Campbell, and he's being blocked by a 4th-round rookie that is in his first game ever. I think at that point it was his 5th snap? Something like that? His 5th snap ever? So CD goes as far to say Max played very well. I wouldn't go that far, but I would go to say considering he was a rookie. Considering he was a 4th-round pick being thrown in. Considering how fucking atrocious Lakin Tomlinson and everyone else was around him, that, yeah, he wasn't bad. So Max Mitchell could be a silver lining. But I don't know what happened with Lakin Tomlinson. I mean, Lakin Tomlinson, right? We've talked about it. This is a Pro Bowler just last year. A Pro Bowler in not a similar system, the same system. According to him, he said it. There's no differences, right? You guys remember, I try to bring you reports as much as I can. That was one of the things Lakin emphasized. He said, there's no signal changes. There's no different anything. Lakin said it is literally identical. So I was like, whew, you guys remember, I was like, here's a Pro Bowler who's literally told to just go where he does, do what he does, and be you. What happened, right? Like, what the fuck happened? So, again, I see to you guys. If you can tell me what the fuck happened to that offensive line, because I expected Lakin, again, like CD points out, the Ravens defensive line was a handful. That was a fact, especially on the interior of that line. If you go back and watch that game, they collapsed fast. The middle went fast. So we know McGovern ain't no fucking great center, but we know he's not the worst. We know that. He's like, right? That's the best way to describe McGovern. He's You know, he can be good sometimes. He'll suck others. So, but he's not the worst. He's not the worst. They did collapse. So yes, CD's 100% right. They were a handful for that Jets offensive line. And you factor that in to, like we just said before, that they hadn't been playing together. They weren't on the same timing. It was a recipe for fucking disaster. And I see it now. I totally get it. I see it now, right? So shout out to all you guys. CD points out the two young guys played well on the right. Yeah, ADT was good. And we were joking about it before. I started talking about ADT first because they got me turned around. We're moving guys too much. George is staying on the left, right? Even when I think everybody agrees now that even when Dwayne Brown comes back, they cannot move George Fant, right? George Fant stays where he is no matter what. Like, that's it, right? So the young guys looked good on the right side. The left side got abused, yeah. The left side definitely, if you watch again the game, CD, shout out, man, you're right. I was going to talk, I kind of mentioned that before as well. It was that left side that was collapsing a lot. And again, considering Max Mitchell was, excuse me, and CD pointed it out as well, considering Max Mitchell was a rookie blocking Calais Campbell. He wasn't blocking an average fucking dude. He was blocking Calais Campbell. And again, you're killing it, man. Shad, I was literally going to say, if you watch that play, Flacco moved into it. Max Mitchell was actually blocking well. If Flacco hadn't moved, or like he says, Flacco got pushed via Governor Tomlinson, I think it was basically he anticipated because he got bumped and he moved. But either way, he moved right into it. He literally moved right into it. So you can't blame Max Mitchell on that. He was blocking great. Next thing you know, he's like, fuck, Flacco's right here. Like, that's literally what happened. He's like, fuck, there he is. Like, that's literally how it went down. So, yeah, I think Max Mitchell looked pretty good. Again, I won't go as far to say very well, but I always say I was impressed with his rookie turnout. And again, the rest of that, like, Lakin has to figure it the fuck out. He's a Pro Bowler in the same system. So I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just the Ravens line taking advantage, right? Maybe it was just I didn't think, like, I thought the Ravens defensive line was good. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was good. I thought it was like, I don't know if I had to pick a number, 10th in the NFL. Like, they're not bad, but they're not the best. Maybe 12, 14, like somewhere from like a little above middle to like middle. They were awesome. They made our offensive line look like fucking chumps. So, man, we talked about the quarterback, talked about the running back. That offensive line has to figure it the fuck out. They have to figure it the fuck out, and fast. Like, absolutely fucking fast. Has to get figured out. So, whatever that is, whatever they're going to figure out, George Fant can't move. Like, that's my only take on this offensive line. George Fant has to stay where he is. Because AVT did well on the right side. AVT's been all around the offensive line in college. He's proven he can do that. George ain't going anywhere. George, that's his spot. He stays there. Damn it, he stays there. So, talk about the wide receivers. I think you'll all agree with me on this. Where the fuck was Garrett Wilson? That's what I would like to know. So Garrett Wilson had an unbelievable play. You guys remember that play that was almost a first down. And if you didn't hear Robert Saleh on TMK Sports, he actually said that his specialist, the guy in his ear, actually wanted him to go for it because Garrett was that close, and that wouldn't have been a bad move. We all wanted him to go for it, right? Why the fuck didn't he go for it? That would have made sense. Garrett just made an unbelievable play. If you want momentum, that's fucking momentum. That is the definition, the textbook definition of fucking momentum. What Garrett did was amazing. You guys remember, in the beginning, I admit I wasn't high on him. I was wrong. I admit I was dead ass wrong. Garrett Wilson looks like a fucking superstar. Like, he looked like it in camp. He looked like it all through everything he did. He looked like it in the preseason. 2 wide receiver ones we had. Man, he looked unbelievable. That was an unbelievable play. He should have not gotten the yards he did. Made great cuts, made great moves, ran with purpose. But where the fuck was he? And I think you guys would agree with that. He was not on the field enough. Like, you made Denzel Mims inactive. Everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, we expected to see Denzel Mims this season. You kept him for a reason, right? Like, there's a reason. You didn't keep him just so he could fucking go inactive every week, right? Because that's fucking, like, I almost said a bad word. I'm so angry. That's just fucking stupid if you kept him there for him to go inactive every fucking week. So, Mims is inactive. He ain't playing. Corey Davis has a case of the fucking drops. So, I've tried to be a fan of Corey Davis. You guys remember when we signed him, I talked about his drops. But I also said I like the player he is, and he almost had 1,000 yards last year. Corey did yesterday what he does best. And I want to talk about this because it kind of needs to be addressed. So, maybe you'll agree with this. Corey Davis is the fucking king of garbage time. He is the king. When it doesn't matter, he'll make every catch. When you're down by 30, he'll make the catch out of his asshole. Like, it's amazing. But when you need him to make the catch, oh, I can't get it. Oh, no. I said that on Twitter. I thought that pass from Joe Flacco was perfect. The reason I said that, it wasn't perfect. But considering it was raining, the ball was wet, there was a guy coming at him on that play. He was only just behind Corey Davis. Corey stopped to the point where the ball hit him right here in the shoulder. In my brain, if it hits you here, that's numbers. You need to fucking come down with it. So in the rain, that's a near perfect pass. You need to fucking come down with that. Corey did his drops like he does best. And then he continued to, like, when it didn't matter, put up like 70 fucking yards. Like, it's crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me because clearly he's a good receiver. Like, he shows you he is. How come when the chips are down, he sucks it the fuck up? That's what I want to know. How come when it matters, he makes these key drops? Because he did it last year. We know he did it last year. We watched him do it. He can't pretend he didn't do it. We saw you fucking do it. So, what is happening? You clearly have the talent. That's my question. So if you guys have an opinion, please tell me. Mine is what the fuck is happening? Because he clearly has talent. He looks great when it doesn't matter. He looked fantastic in the fucking fourth quarter of that game. He was a superstar. What the fuck? So that's my take on Corey. Elijah he did okay. He got shut down for a pretty good amount of the game. Let's not forget they went Elijah's way a lot. It was tit for tat. Lattimore got him a few times. Elijah was really covered well. So Moore was locked down. Let's keep that in mind because I don't want anyone, and if you see this, you don't want people on Twitter saying Elijah Moore sucked. It's not a breakout season. They shut Elijah Moore the fuck down. They shut his ass down. I don't know if they went in saying Elijah Moore's the weapon that needs to be shut down, but they shut him the fuck down. He only made a couple of plays, and they were tight. Every play Elijah made. Think about it. Last year, he made plays in wide open field. Every time Elijah caught the ball, the DB was like, here. He was like right there. Every fucking play he caught the ball. They had Elijah Moore on lockdown. I get it. What the fuck? Jets Green says he was nervous. Bro, we're coming back to Corey. Corey's in what? His 6th year now? Right? He's in his 6th year. There's no nerves. Those are crucial catches. And again, Breece Hall is a rookie. Michael Carter is a second-year guy. They made fucking mistakes. But I'm just angry that I feel like Corey Davis, I just don't get it. And again, please help me. I could be seeing this wrong. But it looks like when the chips are down, he does okay. But then he proceeds to put up excellent yardage at the end of the game. He's like, again, like the king of garbage time. That's like what I'm thinking of. He's like the king of garbage time. So I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Berrios really didn't play much of a role other than the return game either. Again, I question the offensive play calling. I felt that last year, the second half of last year, let's say, when Zach came back, for the second half of last year, we saw a much more creative, a much more organic, a much more grooving and in tune offense than we saw week 1. So I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know if it was, again, there's so many factors. Please tell me what you guys think. I don't know if Mike LaFleur was maybe unprepared. Maybe Mike LaFleur came into this with one idea, like the Ravens are going to do X, Y, and Z. And the Ravens are like, oh, we're going to fuck with them. And they totally threw him through a loop. I don't know. So that's the point. CD makes a good point. Again, like I said, it was clear Elijah was shut down. It was clear. That's exactly it. Moore was seeing third and fourth down DBs last year. He's the top dog, baby. Elijah Moore is the breakout master. I've been saying it since what? Like fucking back in April, man. It's Elijah Moore breakout season. So they shut his ass down. They came in with a game plan to shut his ass down, and that's exactly what they did. I think, I'm going to look it up right now. I think he had, 40 yards? We're looking up right now to give it to you guys exactly. I think he had like 40 or 49. He didn't have a great game. And again, I'm telling you, if you go back and watch it, I made a mental note of this. Every time he caught the ball, they were on him. Every time he got the ball, somebody was right fucking there. They were right on top of him the entire game. So, Elijah Moore, why can't I get stats? Box score. There we go. So, Elijah Moore, yeah. Elijah Moore had 5 catches for 49 yards. That's what I thought. I said 40-something. 9.8 yards a carry. They shut Elijah down. Again, it was clear. It was obvious to anyone watching the game. The game plan was to shut down Elijah Moore. The Ravens succeeded in that. I feel that Corey Davis and Garrett Wilson had to be the weapons in that game. Now, Garrett Wilson saw 8 targets, but I got to say, he didn't feel like he was on the field that much. And you guys, again, feel free to agree or disagree. Tell me what you think. But even though he saw 8 targets and he caught 6 of them, I felt like he wasn't on the field that much. And again, that matters. Because even though he saw 8 targets, the plays can break down. The first receiver they look at may not be the guy open. You want a guy like Garrett on the field as much as fucking possible to potentially catch the fucking ball. So my take was, I was like, he had 8 targets. I didn't see him that much. I felt like Garrett wasn't on the field that much. That was kind of weird to me. I felt like Corey was a lot. And he made mistakes. He made clear fucking mistakes that were really tough to watch. So Jets Gang points out, we talked about that earlier, Flacco too. Man, we put a lot on Flacco. We can't not. He's the quarterback, right? Flacco's seen everything, right? That's the whole point. We've been told all offseason, he's still a starting quarterback in the league. He looks great. He can run this offense. He's won multiple playoffs as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's seen everything. How the fuck do you look like that? I literally said, you guys saw it. Day of the game, I'm like, Joe Flacco, we're winning this. We're coming in 3-0. Zach's coming back to a hot team. That's what I want. That's what I've come to. We need this team grooving when Zach returns. Zach is a third-year kid. My apology. No, wait. Brain fart. Jesus. I want to bring some up. I want to show you guys. So, Zach Wilson, obviously going into his second year. Fuck, that's so funny. I'm thinking this is the 3rd year now. Oh, man, that's hysterical. Zach Wilson going into his 2nd year. Let's retract. Zach Wilson going into his 2nd year. What I wanted to bring up to show you guys, we talked about his rookie season. We liked a lot of the progress, right? He looked good. He looked like he was progressing. He didn't come out amazing out of the gate. Not everybody does. We talked about that. Patrick Mahomes is an exception. You can't expect everyone to come out and look like a freaking god. It doesn't work like that. It takes time. It takes momentum. It takes figuring out the offense and learning things and seeing what works and doesn't work and leading the cues in the NFL. There's a million things you have to learn. We had a whole episode. If you guys missed it, we had a whole episode, I think it was, like a month ago or so, talking about, not even a month, it was like a few weeks ago, talking about how excited we were about Zach Wilson, right? How excited we were about him coming into his 2nd year. How many quarterbacks made huge leaps going into their 2nd year? We also said that dying over here. We also said that this was the year to evaluate Zach Wilson. So if that's the case, if we want to either see him A, fucking excel in his 2nd year and become the guy, or B, show us that he can be the guy even if he doesn't excel, that can't happen if the offense looks like shit. That's just a fact. The offense, if it looks like it does when Zach comes back, if he succeeds, that's because he's a legend. If he succeeds, that's because he's fucking amazing. It doesn't work like that. We need this offense grooving. So you remember my take. If it's Joe, week 2, so be it. If it's Mike, if it's Streveler off the practice squad, who I do say, I feel like he fits this offense well. And again, we want momentum. We want this team moving. We want to be excited. And I like Joe, but they call him Joe Cool for a reason. He's as fucking vanilla as you can come. Let's be honest. Joe Flacco, he's funny. He's a good guy. He's pretty much on the field just as about vanilla as you can be. I want someone like Streveler getting the fans going, getting the team going, the running down the field like Zach does on the touchdown, getting excited. I want that. I want this offense grooving so that when Zach comes back, it's plug and play. If it's not grooving, it will not be plug and play. And you know people are going to blame Zach. So I want to see, I believe Zach can be the guy. You guys know that. I truly believe he can. He needs to show it, but we can't show it if there's no fucking team to show it with. So this offense needs to get its shit together. Whoever that's behind, whoever the quarterback is, if it's Robert Saleh throwing on a fucking helmet and throwing the ball himself, I don't care. We need momentum. I want confidence when Zach returns. That is what I personally want. So we talk about the tight ends a little bit. They didn't do as much as I thought. And let's talk about that for a second. The tight ends were there. I mean, it's not like they weren't there. But they didn't do that much. We were so excited, right? Tyler Conklin, breakout season, right? I was excited about that. Tyler Conklin, breakout season. He's freaking, like 700 yards almost last year, freaking 60-something receptions. It was his first year starting. Like, shit, let's go. I mean, Uzomah has had quality plays in the past. Cagers looked good in the preseason. I was excited. We didn't get shit from our tight ends. We didn't get enough. Conklin had a couple of plays, a couple of decent plays. He wound up catching 4 of his 7 balls for 14 yards. Yes, he had a touchdown. That is a fact. Yes, he had a touchdown. The only Jets touchdown. So let's just let's give him credit there. But again, to be fair, and we've talked about this before, do we deserve to give somebody credit for doing okay if the rest of the team looks like shit? Don't we deserve to be good, right? It's almost like saying, well, everything looks like shit, so we're going to give a gold trophy to the guy that looks okay. I don't like that. So appreciate all your guys' comments. Appreciate all the guys. Please let me know what you're thinking. Let me know. CD points out, shout out, he says Conklin was triple covered. It's true. Conklin was very covered, but still tight end. To me, the guy's got to make the play. To me, tight ends are always covered. It's the middle of the field. You got linebackers. You got slot corners. You got safeties on you. You got everyone everywhere. You're middle of the field. In my opinion, tight ends are always going to be covered. That's how I always look at it. You look at Travis Kelce. He rarely gets wide open, very little. He makes plays happen. So I was really excited about our tight ends. Again, not bad. Not the worst, but I really expected more. I really, really, really expected more. So that's something I want going forward, because if Tyler Conklin has a huge game, if CJ Uzomah has a huge freaking game, that's going to help us win. That's going to help this offense grooving when we're down at the end zone. Michael Carter dropping it on the end zone. That's a good time to throw to a tight end, right? It's a very good time to throw to a tight end. So tight ends, they weren't there. They weren't there. Point out Conklin was triple covered. I want better. That's my opinion. I want better. That's what I'm thinking. So let's talk about the defense, because the defense looked really good. The defense looked really, really good. So we're going to pivot that. That was the fucking only bright star in this travesty of a fucking Jets team. The defense looked good. So we talk about freaking Sauce Gardner a little bit. We talk about DJ Reed. We talk about the lockdown combo that they are. Man, DJ Reed had a 90.3 PFF grade in his first game playing. With the Jets. Sorry, not first game ever. His first game playing with the Jets. Like, that is freaking awesome. And to take it a step further, Give it to you right now. DJ Reed was put out earlier. Right here. It was put up on PFF. DJ Reed played 34 coverage snaps. He was targeted 6 times. He didn't allow a catch. He didn't allow a single catch. He had an interception, and he had a 90 coverage grade. He was freaking awesome. And if you guys didn't hear it, it's really, really sad. Unfortunately, DJ lost his father. His father had been suffering with MS. Shout out to anybody who has that disease. It sucks. I feel bad. It's a real struggle for your family and everything. It's tough to go through. DJ's father had it since 2004. It's been a long time. He'd been sick for a while. He'd been admitted to the hospital. DJ actually found out right before the game. Like literally, he said, like right when they were announcing his name, he had just found out on his phone that his father had passed away. So man, he said he's dedicating this season to his father, and man, that performance was unbelievable. So shout out to DJ Reed, shout out to his family. Sucks to go through that. He's been sick for a long time, so the whole thing sucks. But it sucks to hear that. But he says he's dedicating this season to his father. It's dedicated to him. Shout out to that, and man, he looked good. DJ Reed looked absolutely fucking good. And so did Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner had a 72.9 grade in that game. And let's remember that's a rookie playing in his first game. So if you guys didn't see it out on Twitter, I put out Baldy's breakdown. Baldy put out a breakdown on the two of them and showed just how good they were. Man, this is the lockdown duo we expected. And you guys know, I have a little water for a second, getting a little hot over here. You got to stay hydrated. So you guys know that I've been a fan of Bryce Hall. I've liked him. And I've said before that one game doesn't define him, right? So it's an interesting story in this game because it's almost like the tale of two halves. So at first, it didn't look good. He allowed a touchdown, right? We're like, man, Sauce looks awesome. DJ looks awesome. My first take was that's not how you start. Like if you want to stay starting Bryce Hall, that's not it. But then I saw Rich Cimini, shout out to him, on ESPN Stats. He said he put out, apparently, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but apparently that was the closest coverage of any corner in like 4 years, like something crazy. So that's kind of crazy because I'm like, man, that wasn't good. Like DJ Reed looked great. We saw him look great all game. Sauce looked great. Hall allowed that touchdown, but I did think the coverage was tight. I did think there was tight coverage. I was like, man, that was a great catch. Still would have liked to see Hall make the play. But man, according to Rich Cimini, that was like the tightest coverage in like 4 years. So DJ Reed and freaking Sauce Gardner look amazing. They're clearly the guys on the outside. And Michael Carter II looks good too. You guys remember I had said that. That triple combination is an outstanding combo. I put those 3 names out and I said nobody's throwing on us. I mean, obviously, yeah, some teams are going to make throws, but not a lot. I mean, DJ Reed barely allowed a lot to happen. And shout out to that for a second. Let's go back to that combo, right, of Sauce and DJ. So we said what DJ did together. Between the two of them, Sauce and DJ, through the whole freaking game, they were only targeted 9 times because people were scared, man. That's not that many targets for 2 guys. People were scared. So Sauce and DJ were targeted only 9 times the whole game. They only allowed 1 catch. They only allowed 1 freaking catch for 8 yards. That's it. So, man, I like Bryce Hall. I'm a big fan of the guy, but Sauce Gardner, man, DJ Reed, that's a lockdown duo, man. Those two look unbelievable on the outside. And like DJ said, he's dedicating this season to his father. And he had an unbelievable game. So if these are signs to come, man, these 2 guys look unbelievable. So that's one of the biggest bright, again, we said we were going to end with them, the biggest bright spots of this horrible shit that we saw on Sunday, basically. That Sauce and DJ are freaking legit, man. Like we knew, but it's nice to see it. It's nice to see it in actual action because like we're saying to the rest of the team, like we're saying to the offense, we need to see it in action. You can have all the talent in the world. Wins are what matter. making the freaking playoffs for the first time in 11 years. That's what freaking matters, man. That's what matters. So, Sauce and DJ, bright spot. Michael Carter II, also looking good. And the defensive line looked good too. Quinnen Williams had an unbelievable game. Shout out to Quinnen. Quinnen Williams, where's the number? It was unbelievable. I got it right here. Quinnen Williams had a 92.1 grade on that game. That was not just the best Jets player. That was third in the NFL among all defensive tackles. Third in the entire freaking league. So, man, Quinnen Williams looks really good. And we've been saying that for a few years. So I'm excited right now. Shout out to my fiance. She just came home. She brought me some Starbucks. So I'm excited. I'm very appreciated. Appreciate you. So I got something to keep me nice and hydrated. I'll be able to keep chatting with you, you beautiful and lovely people. So, DJ and Sauce, obvious bright spot. We look at this defensive line for a second. A lot of talent, right? Quinnen, unbelievable. We talked about his number. One of the third best of all defensive tackles, best among all Jets. He's collapsed that middle fantastically. So I want to talk about that for a second because that wasn't appreciated enough. Joe Flacco threw an interception, which again, Lawrence Cager slipped. So that's something, again, important things to keep in mind. Lawrence Cager slipped. Granted, it wasn't a great throw. It wasn't a great throw to begin with. You look at the play, the ball was off where Lawrence fell. But still, Lawrence slipped. The ball gets intercepted. They have the ball on R13. They started the play on R13. Who made the plays? Carl Lawson and Quinnen Williams. Carl Lawson blew up the freaking offensive tackle, shoved him back, grabbed the running back, and actually made him lose a yard. And we need to talk about that because, yes, Carl didn't have an unbelievable game. He didn't have like 2 sacks or even 1 sack. But that showed that he is back. If Carl wasn't back, he wouldn't have been able to manhandle a 300-pound plus man, push him backward, and then still get the running back. So Carl's back. So that's another silver lining. Yes, he didn't have a great game, but he's back. And maybe that great game is a coming, right? Maybe that great game's a coming week 2. Maybe we're going to get a sack or 2 from Carl then. So Carl's back. Quinnen looked really good. We've talked about Michael Clemens, how talented he is, how we all feel like he's going to be a freaking superstar, man. And again, I do want to say, I never want to see anybody get injured. And that's a fact. I never want to see anybody get hurt. I feel bad when people get hurt. But that being said, the play that Michael Clemens hurt that offensive lineman, he shoved him back hard. Like, he shoved him back really hard. Like, that's why he got hurt. And again, I'm sorry he got hurt. Please don't take this as I'm endorsing violence, because I'm not. But Michael Clemens blew his ass up, and he tried to rebound with his footwork, and that's why he hurt his leg, because he got blown the hell up. So, man, Michael Clemens, Jermaine Johnson had half a sack in that game. We talked about how awesome Jermaine can be. Freaking Jacob Martin had a half sack in that game. The only thing that I thought was mind-boggling, maybe you guys can help me with this, and again, I ask you guys because I'm curious, why the hell was Bryce Huff inactive? Like, Bryce Huff's not hurt, right? Because, excuse me, I don't remember him being hurt. So not remember him being hurt, we've been talking nothing about him having a breakout season. Like, literally, so many sources have talked about this is Bryce Huff's breakout season, that he was hurt last year, and when he wasn't hurt, how amazing he looked. And that so many places have said, I've said it, and I've even had him on my channel. Shout out to that if you guys missed it. I had him on my channel. Man, I was excited. I was like, this could be a big season for him. I don't get why he was inactive week 1. I just don't. I just don't understand why he was inactive. That doesn't make sense to me. But our defensive line looked excellent. Our corners looked excellent. Our linebackers looked excellent. Quincy Williams, fucking everywhere. Quincy Williams, I felt like his ass was everywhere. I heard his name, 5 times in that game? Something like that. Like 5 times in that game? So shout out to all you guys Appreciate Marcus. Marcus says, thanks for the positive feedback. Despite the lack of wins, lots of good coming. I do still feel that way. I do still feel that way. I am pissed. And don't get me wrong. I mentioned that beginning of the show. I think we all have a right to be pissed because we deserve better football. But as we talked about in the beginning too, there's a disconnect because we all agree this team is very talented. We love what Joe Douglas has brought to this team. We love the energy that Robert Saleh brings and the players wanting to play for him. So I just don't get the fucking disconnect. I don't. I just don't get it. But coming back to those linebackers, Quincy Williams, everywhere. Heard his name the whole game. CJ Mosley, double-digit tackles again. And let's please, PFF, stop for the love of God disrespecting CJ Mosley. If you give him, I'm actually curious. I'm going to look it up right now to see if I should be fuming at the fucking ears or not. Let's see this for a second. Let's see what PFF gave my man CJ Mosley. Oh, you motherfuckers. Oh, you motherfuckers. They gave him a 54.3. The dude had double-digit tackles in the game. So, man, they've been disrespecting CJ Mosley for years now. It is ridiculous, the shit they said about that, the grades they gave him last year. CJ Mosley was the only Jet, I want to clarify that to make sure I'm correct. Yes, he was the only Jet to have double-digit tackles, and he consistently had double-digit tackles all last year. So, fuck PFF. CJ Mosley was good. Quincy Williams was all over the place. And Quan Alexander lit some dudes up, right? Quan knocked some people's freaking teeth in. Like, Quan lit dudes up. Like, that was awesome. So that linebacker crew, also legit. But there's a weakness. There's a weakness on that defense. We watched it being exploited. And a shout out on Twitter to appreciate all you guys out there. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Everyone that's on, listens on the show. But he said he couldn't make it. So he made a comment though. He said he had to go to work, but he hoped that we talked about it to shout out to Anthony, hope I'm saying it right. Anthony Sciglitano. I believe I'm saying it right. He said we have to talk about the safeties and the left side of that line. Now we've talked about the shit that is the left side of that line. Let's talk about the safeties first. Because my dog agrees. She agrees, guys. She agrees. A freaking travesty. Absolutely travesty in the safeties because of how good the corners were. When you have really good corner play, the safety's job is supposed to be easier. For the love of God. DJ, unbelievable. Sauce, unbelievable. Why were the safeties so bad? So Whitehead, we'll start with him. He was all over the place. He would make one play where I'm like, fucking yeah. Then he'd make another play where I'm like, shoot him in the head. Like, what the fuck? He was massively inconsistent. So Whitehead, massive inconsistency. He has to clean that up. But what surprised the hell out of me, and I will admit it, because again, I'm always willing to backtrack myself when I'm wrong. I'm not going to say I never said that. I believe LaMarcus Joyner could be good. I was like, why not, right? The last time he played safety, he had a 90 PFF grade. And we've seen, I talked about it, you guys remember my example with Charles Woodson. Guys can play safety into their early mid-30s and still be excellent. So I was like, man, that Saleh even reiterated. He's like that veteran leadership in the back end of Whitehead and LaMarcus Joyner, especially because DJ and Sauce are young. That's great, but I will say it here, man. LaMarcus Joyner looked very questionable in training camp. LaMarcus Joyner looked pretty bad in the preseason. And I was like, okay, let's see what happens regular season. He was terrible. LaMarcus Joyner was really bad, and my take, and I think you guys agree with me, why the fuck did we get rid of Jason Pinnock? That's my big thing here with the safety. Like, why the hell did we? This is a guy we just drafted last year. We moved his position to a position. I looked it up. I think he played safety like not even a handful of times in college. Like, not even a handful was he back there. So he's really at safety for the first time. He's looking good. He's playing well. I even said, I was like, shit, Hall and Echols looked last year. Obviously last year. I was like, Hall and Echols look pretty good on the outside. Pinnock's not playing. Why not play him at safety? The dude's got the size, the height, the physicality, the range, just everything. I thought he looked good. We got rid of him and kept Ashton Davis, which, okay, but why did he not play that much? We saw him much less. When Joyner was struggling, why didn't we see more of Davis? And I'm not even a huge fan of Davis. Let's be honest. I've said that before. Davis was a 2020 pick. I've said before, I think Adam Gase's blueprint was on 2020 more than we'd like to admit. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Look at the Jets 2020 draft and then take it out of the way and look at the 2021 and 2022. We've said the 2021 and the 2022 Jets draft are two of arguably like the best back-to-back drafts potentially ever. Obviously, the players have to show. That's a fact. We're not fucking crowning anybody here. Players have to show. But on paper, those were two of the best drafts. So I felt that 2020, remember, before Joe Douglas was here, the Johnsons in their infinite wisdom made Adam Gase the fucking king of the Jets, right? They put the GM and the head coach hat on him. They made him the supreme emperor of the Jets. So I think his fingerprint was on 2020. Plus, I think Joe Douglas was drafting players. Well, obviously, I'm not going to say I'm guessing. Obviously, Joe Douglas was drafting players for Adam Gase's team. Why the fuck wouldn't he? He's the coach. Why would you draft it for somebody else? Clearly, that changed when Robert Saleh came in the building. So, shout out to PJ. PJ says Davis sucks. Bro, I don't hate the kid. I liked when we drafted him. I'm like, okay, this dude's fast. Like, let's not forget, Ashton Davis was a track star. That dude was a fucking track star. He is fast as hell. I was like, okay, he's so fast. He's so athletic. And he can hit, right? Remember, let's give him credit in his rookie season. He laid that hit on Cam Newton. And I was like, damn, this dude's got pop to him. Okay, let's see if he can translate. It hasn't. He's had years. He's in his third year. That's the point. It's like the same situation we were talking about Sam Darnold. Remember? Everyone kept applying the same Sam Darnold logic to Zach Wilson that he's got to be great immediately. No, he fucking doesn't. That's not how it works. That's what a reset is. So, that being the case, need a little water. My apologies, guys. Got to stay hydrated. But that being the freaking case, man, I don't get it. I don't get how we got rid of Jason Pinnock. And he got scooped up. He got scooped up immediately. I'm still trying to wrap my head on how Chuma Edoga got picked up. I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. But the point is Jason Pinnock getting picked up. Like, Jason Pinnock getting picked up, like, how did we cut him? Especially when safety is a bit of a question mark, right? I thought Whitehead would be better than he would be. I will admit that. I felt Whitehead would be better. And again, it wasn't that he was bad. It's that he was inconsistent. He had a bunch of plays where I was like, damn, good coverage, good hit. Then I was like, oh, shit. He looked bad in the end zone. He made a bunch of really good plays and a bunch of really bad plays. That has to change. We need consistency back there. But LaMarcus Joyner, unless he turns it the fuck around really quickly, he's not I thought he could be. I really did, but I'm wrong. I'll admit it. He did not look good all through camp, all through the preseason. I hoped it would translate in the regular season, but that was rough. He was a weak spot. He was so fucking weak. My apologies. He was so fucking weak that, if you remember that pass interference play that he had, Sauce had that fucking guy. The announcer even pointed it out. Sauce was on that dude. He forgot that Sauce is fast. He forgot that Sauce can get from point A to B really fucking quickly, and he jumped the route and hit the guy. What the fuck? So I've tried to support him. I've been like, he's a veteran. Let's see what he can do. Man, he's got to be replaced. And I don't know, like PJ points out, I don't know if Ashton Davis is the answer. I would have thought Jason Pinnock could be. You guys remember my take. My take was, I like the veteran combination of Pinnock. I like the veteran combination of Joyner and Whitehead. However, if it doesn't work out, I want Pinnock. I liked him. Wasn't a huge fan of Davis. I even liked Will Parks. Like, what the shit? So we need to figure safety out. So that's the whole thing right there. The whole defense looks pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. And in some aspects, the pass rush, the cornerback coverage, the linebackers look damn good. I was very impressed. They were on the field too much. And we have to remember that, right? When there's no offense, the defense can only do so much. There's only so fucking much they can do. So, that being the case, they were very good. The defense was very good, minus the safety play. The safety play needs to get a lot better. But that offense, like we talked about, we spent, 40 minutes freaking out on this freaking offense and calling them to get their shit together. It needs to happen. And you remember my take. I don't care who it is, how they do it, and the way they do it. This offense needs to be grooving when Zach returns. That's what we need. That's what I want. I want them firing on all cylinders. I want the running backs feeling good. I want confidence in my wide receivers. I want the offensive line holding their fucking own. That's what I want when Zach returns. However you achieve that, if it's Mike LaFleur becomes Mork and turns himself upside down and stands on his fucking head, so be it. So be it. I need this offense figured out and now. So shout out to all you guys. Marcus points out, I understand why Flacco did not get a senior benching, even when there were lots of senior moments on the field. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Man, the Mike White chants were fierce. The Mike White chants were absolutely fierce. Couldn't be at the game, but shout out to you guys, man. Absolute shout out to you guys. You had that place fucking rocking during the national anthem, and it was rocking when you were calling for Mike White. You made your voices heard, which was awesome, but they weren't listening. Nobody was listening. So they claim Joe Flacco's still going to be the guy. I mean, I love it. And you guys know I try to bring you the pressers. When they interviewed Robert Saleh on it, he said anything's possible. So that's when I think it was Rich Cimini, like he pried a little bit, which he loves to do. He pried a little bit and goes, does that mean we could see something else? But then Robert Saleh went on to say, well, anything's possible any week. And I was like, well, fuck. Like at first I was excited. He's like, Joe's the guy, but anything could happen. And I was like, ooh, opening. Then he's like, yeah, anything could happen at any position. You never know. I was like, oh, fuck. So it looks like Joe is going to be the guy. Barring anything, it looks like Joe's going to be the guy. We got to figure this out. We got to figure this out. The offensive line, they talked about it. When the offensive line was good, he still wasn't great. Let's make that clear. Joe was still not that good, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't that bad when the offensive line play wasn't really there. So shout out to PJ. PJ points out Flacco and Bryce Hall were the problem. We mentioned it with Hall earlier, man. If you want to, please, guys, check out the show earlier. We were talking about Hall. It's a weird disconnect because struggled in coverage, but they also said how good that coverage was. So it's a struggle. But, man, Sauce and DJ look amazing, right? That's, I think, the biggest takeaway. Right? The biggest takeaway in this game is the lockdown duo. We talked about it earlier. We talked about the numbers. We talked about how little they allowed. It's amazing, man. They are just what I kept saying on Twitter, and a lot of people were. They are exactly what we expected. They are a lockdown duo. Sauce Gardner on one side, DJ Reed on the other. They are locking this shit down tight. So, before I leave you guys, I'm going to drink a little water, because I have a tiny little rant I want to go on. So, if you guys remember, I was angry in the beginning of the show, and I'm angry because I'm thinking back to Sunday, and that was pathetic. That was not fun to watch. That was not competitive football. That wasn't fair to Jet fans. We've been suffering our entire fucking existences watching bad ownership, have bad coaching, have bad players, not know how to draft. We finally figured it out. At least we feel like we have, right? We believe in Joe Douglas. We believe in this whole process that's been put together. What we saw week one was a fucking travesty. If that's what we have to look forward, we don't have anything to look forward to. So I believe there's a bright future ahead of us, but we have to get there. And the coaching staff, the players, they need to bring us there. For us, For us Jet fans, too many of us have watched shit football for too fucking long. We've watched bad plays for too fucking long. We've watched how many Jet fans come and go and leave this earth and never see a fucking Super Bowl. That is unfair. So many of our fellow Jet fans have left us some too early because they couldn't be here. We have sucked so long for so hard, and we finally, we're hearing all the right things. They're telling us, we see all these great players being put together. We cannot afford to see the same shit. We deserve better. So for all those Jet fans that came before us, for all those Jet fans who never got to see the playoffs, let's get there. Let's make this happen. Let's go. Let's win. Let's dominate. Let's be a great team. And we need to get there. This shit needs to change. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm a little hot, trying to bring it down. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the Take Flight Spitfire podcast. I freaking love all of you guys. I really do. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening to me rant and go on and get red in the face and start sweating. It's a lot of fun. I love it. I appreciate you guys being there. Makes me feel, otherwise I'll just be talking to myself. Appreciate you guys there. I really, really do. Thank you in the comments. Love it. Please, as always, bring your thoughts, bring your ideas. Always challenge me. I love it. Tell me I'm wrong. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. I love and appreciate all you guys. So again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the Take Flight Spitfire podcast. And like we said before, we believe our time is coming, but we want better football. We want better fucking football, and we want to see it right fucking now. So thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll be bringing you content, as you know. I'll bring you short videos throughout the week. And next week, let's see some better fucking football.